Well, now I'm joined by the Herald's Business Editorial Director, Fran O'Sullivan. Fran, lovely to have you in.
Thank you, Madison.
What do you make of this budget? I know that you speak to business executives and chairpeople very often. Will they be happy with this budget or not?
Look, I think there were pretty low expectations for this budget. I think there was a sense that the government would put a bit of sprinkle dust around the place and look after one or two people that are part of their own constituency. But the expectations were low, I have to say. What they will be looking for, though, is a pathway on resilience. That is something business cares about. They care that the economy gets off its knees, and they will be interested but sceptical of the Treasury forecast that, in fact, there'll be no recession.
Yeah, on that, what are business leaders telling you about how they're feeling at the moment? Is it a recessionary environment out there? Will they believe Treasury's forecast from today?
Well, there's always scepticism over Treasury's forecasts. They haven't proven to be particularly accurate over the years, but there's also quite a degree of ability to manipulate, if you like, by putting a fair degree of spending into the economy, which is what is happening. I think the big issue, though, is how the Reserve Bank reacts. Does the Reserve Bank, which has been crying out forever for the government to, monetary policy needs mates argument, whether in fact they'll be happy with the spending tap, which has actually been opened big time today.
Is this Grant Robertson going to war with Adrian Orr?
I think he's raised the stakes, put it that way, and it's almost like I'm calling you. Will that bet play off? I guess time will tell. We'll start to see a bit of that next week, of course, with the OCR.
A big question, Fran, but do you think that this is a fiscally responsible budget?
I have my doubts about it, because largely where my doubts come in is to what happens with the election coming up. Clearly they're building a war chest for that, and that is pretty obvious by the spending track. How does that get used? How does it get used responsibly? And they're differentiated. I mean, this is, according to the press releases, a Chris Hipkins budget, not necessarily a government budget. So the war of the two Chris's has already been differentiated. So people know this is the impact of having a new Prime Minister. When it gets to the election, I'm not so certain about how this is going to play out. I think there's a lot of imponderables. And, are they responsible? I have a big question mark over that.
Do you think they're going to have to spend the next 5 months proving that they are fiscally responsible?
No, they're not going to do that. They're actually going to be thinking about what is the Labor policy for the election, and, will they have the guts to actually go and put in place some element of wealth taxes? I mean, they've closed the loophole on the trusts, which actually should have been closed when they introduced the 39% rate. It shouldn't have been left open for a couple of years. I mean, it was always going to be, a large amount of money evading, which it has evaded.
Thank you so much for your time, Fran.
Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel to stay up to date with all the latest news from the New Zealand Herald. Click the subscribe button below or check out one of the videos here, and head over to nzherald.co.nz for more details on these stories and more.